The station was quiet. Most people were asleep. Only the night guards walked the halls. Jake and Kayla moved through the shadows. They stayed away from cameras and patrols. Jake knew how to stay hidden. He had done this many times before. Kayla followed him without speaking. She trusted him now. She had seen what he could do, and she knew this mission was dangerous. But she didn't want to leave his side. Jake stopped at a corner. He looked at a map on the wall. He pointed to a room, deep inside the station. "That's where they are," he said. "The pirates are using it as a meeting place." Kayla looked at the map. "How do you know?" "I heard them talking in the market. They think no one can stop them here." Kayla nodded. "Let's prove them wrong." They moved again, slow and careful. Jake kept his eyes open for traps. He checked every door before passing. Kayla held her weapon ready. When they reached the hallway near the target room, Jake stopped. He pointed to a vent. "I'll go through there. You cover the door. Wait for my signal." Kayla didn't like the idea, but she agreed. "Be careful." Jake climbed into the vent. It was tight and dark. He moved slowly, making no sound. After a few minutes, he reached the room. He looked through the vent opening. Inside, 6 pirates sat around a table. They were talking, laughing, and drinking. One of them was the leader, a tall man with a scar across his face. Jake remembered him from the fight. He was the one giving orders. Jake took a deep breath. Then he kicked the vent cover open and jumped down. The pirates jumped to their feet. Surprised, Jake threw a smoke grenade and moved fast. He hit the first man in the neck and took his weapon. Shots fired, but the smoke made it hard to aim. Outside, Kayla heard the noise. She kicked the door open and ran in. Her shots were quick and clean. One pirate dropped, then another. Jake and Kayla fought together. Their moves matched. They didn't speak, but they understood each other. The last pirate tried to run, but Jake caught him. He pushed him against the wall. "Where's the rest of your team?" Jake asked. The man shook with fear. "You can't stop them. They're already spread across the station." "You're too late." Jake looked at Kayla. "We need to warn Laura." They tied up the pirate and ran back to the ship. Alarms had started to sound. The station was waking up. Something bad was happening. Laura met them at the ship. Her eyes were wide. They attacked the control center," she said. "They want to take over the station." Jake nodded. "We stopped them here." Kayla said, "We need to work with the station guards." "Do they trust us?" Laura answered. "Not yet. But they've seen the reports. They know you took down pirates before." Jake stepped forward. "Then let's give them a reason to trust us." They moved fast. Kayla called her contact in station security. His name was Officer Ray. He met them near the control center. "You two again," Ray said. "I've heard stories. You really took down 12 men." Jake said, "Yes, and I'm ready to do it again." Ray looked at them. Then he gave them weapons. "Let's stop these fools." They entered the control center through a side door. The pirates had taken hostages. Guards were tied up. One pirate stood near the control panel, trying to hack the system. Jake pointed. "I'll take the one by the panel." "Kayla, you take the one by the door." Ray whispered, "I'll cover the hostages." They moved in fast. Jake shot first. The man at the panel went down. Kayla kicked the door open and shot the second pirate. Ray pulled the hostages to safety. More pirates rushed in. A big fight started. Shots fired. Smoke filled the air. Jake moved like before. fast and without fear. He hit, kicked, and shot. Kayla stood beside him, her gun never missing. Ray helped where he could. Together, they pushed the pirates back. One pirate tried to throw a grenade. Jake saw it and kicked it back. It exploded near the pirates. The blast ended the fight. Silence returned. Jake looked around. All enemies were down. The hostages were safe. Ray shook his head. "You're not just a fighter. You're a storm." Kayla smiled. "Told you he's something else." Laura ran in. "You did it. The station is safe." Jake looked at her. "For now." Kayla stepped beside him. "What now, Jake?" Jake looked at the stars through the window. "We keep moving. There's always another fight." Kayla said, "Then I go with you, wherever you go." Jake didn't smile, but his eyes softened. He gave a small nod. The station lights returned to normal. People cheered. The danger had passed. But the legend of Jake Carter had grown. He was more than a man now. He was a name that made enemies shake. And he was just getting started. Asterisk, the station slowly returned to normal. Lights were fixed. People came out of hiding, and the security teams cleaned up the mess. But Jake Carter didn't rest. He sat alone in the ship, sharpening his knife. His hands moved slowly, but his mind was busy. Kayla walked in and saw him sitting there. "You never stop," she said. "No," Jake replied. "There's always more. The pirates are gone. We saved the station. What more can there be?" Jake looked up. "This isn't just about pirates. They knew who I was. That means someone sent them." Kayla frowned. "You think they were after you?" Jake nodded. I'm sure Kayla sat down beside him. "Then maybe it's time to tell me. Who are you really, Jake?" Jake was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke. "I used to be part of a team. Special Forces. We did missions no one else could. We were sent to fix problems others ran from. We were good. Too good." Kayla listened closely. "One mission went wrong. We were told it was simple. Just a cleanup job on a dead planet. But it wasn't. We found something there. Something powerful. The people in charge wanted it. They didn't care who got hurt." Kayla asked, "What happened?" "My team refused to help. We wanted to protect the people on that planet. So they turned on us. They blamed us for a fake attack. We were hunted. One by one, they took us out." Jake looked down. "I was the last one. I ran. I hid. And ever since, they've been trying to find me." Kayla put a hand on his arm. "You didn't do anything wrong. You tried to do what was right. That doesn't matter to them," Jake said. "They just want to erase what happened." Kayla stood. "Then we fight. We don't run anymore." Jake looked at her. "Are you sure this isn't your fight?" "It is now," she said. "I'm with you, no matter what." Laura walked in at that moment. "Sorry to interrupt, but you need to see this." She showed them a screen. A message was sent to the station. It was marked with a special code. Jake knew it right away. "That's them," he said. "The same group. They're close." Laura looked worried. "They're offering a reward for your capture, dead or alive." Keller's eyes narrowed. "So they've made it official." Jake stood up. "We can't stay here. They'll come in numbers. We need to leave now." They rushed to the ship and prepared for launch. Laura checked the systems while Jake and Kayla loaded supplies. The engine started to hum, but as they were about to leave, a voice came over the speaker. "This is Central Command. You are not cleared for takeoff. Stay docked until further notice." Jake shook his head. "They're trying to hold us." Kayla looked at him. What do we do? We leave anyway, Jake said. Laura warned that could make us targets, even more than we are. Jake walked to the controls. Then let's not waste time. He hacked into the station's system and unlocked the docking clamps. The ship pulled away from the port. Alarms went off. Fighters from the station started to follow. They're coming, Laura said. Head for the dark side of the nearest moon, Jake said. We can lose them there. The ship flew fast, dodging scanners and patrols. Kayla helped Laura with navigation. Jake stood by the weapons panel, ready. Soon, the ship dipped behind the moon and disappeared from the enemy's view. Laura slowed down. We're clear for now. Jake nodded. We'll need to change our ship's ID and route. They'll be searching every station for us. Kayla looked at Jake. Where do we go now? Jake stared at the stars. There's a place, a safe zone in the outer rim. Old friends might still be there. People I trust. Laura said, then that's where we'll go. For the next few hours, the ship moved quietly through space. Jake sat alone in the back room. He opened his bag and took out the old photo of his team. He touched each face gently. Kayla walked in. Was that your team? Jake nodded. Every one of them was like family. We trained together, fought together. I still hear their voices. Kayla said, you survived for a reason, Jake. Maybe this is your second chance. Jake didn't reply, but her words stayed in his mind. They arrived at a hidden station built inside an asteroid. No one spoke as the ship docked. The place looked quiet, but Jake felt a strange peace. A man came out to greet them. He had a strong build and a friendly face. Jake Carter, the man said. I never thought I'd see you again. Jake smiled. Hello, Mason. Kayla and Laura watched as the two men shook hands. We need help, Jake said. And I need the truth to come out. Mason nodded. Then let's get to work. The fight wasn't over. But for the first time, Jake had allies, a plan, and hope. And the war was about to change. The unknown ship got closer. It moved fast and quiet. No lights, no signals. Jake Carter watched the screen closely. Laura sat in the pilot seat, her hands tight on the controls. Kayla stood beside Jake, her weapon ready. Still no ID, Laura said. They're not answering. Jake said, that's not a trade ship. Get ready. Kayla stepped forward. We should call for help. No time, Jake replied. They'll be here in minutes. Laura turned the ship. I'll try to get us out of range. But the unknown ship was faster. It came up beside them. Then a voice came through the speaker. Rough, full of hate. Shut down your engines. Hand over your cargo. If you fight, we will destroy you. Jake didn't wait. Don't answer. Power the shields. Prepare to run. The enemy ship fired a warning shot. The blast shook the ship. Alarms went off. Shields down to 70%, Laura said. Kayla. With me, Jake said. They'll try to board us. Kayla followed him to the cargo area. They set up cover behind crates and locked down the doors. Jake placed 2 small mines at the entrance. You've done this before, Kayla said. Too many times, Jake replied. The ship shook again. A loud noise echoed through the halls. The enemy had docked. Moments later, the door blew open. Smoke filled the air. Then shadows moved through it. The first pirate came in fast, gun ready. He stepped on the mine. It exploded and threw him back. Kayla fired. Her shot hit the second attacker in the chest. Jake moved like a shadow. He rolled out and hit a third man with a metal bar. The man dropped. 3 down, Kayla said. 9 more, Jake said. The fight was fast and wild. The pirates came in yelling. They thought they would win easily. But Jake and Kayla were ready. Jake hit, kicked, and dodged. His moves were fast and strong. Kayla covered him with fire from her gun. One pirate tried to grab Kayla from the side, but Jake threw a small knife. It hit the man's hand. He dropped his weapon, and Kayla shot him. Jake jumped over a crate and took out 2 more with a broken pipe. One tried to shoot him from behind, but Jake turned and slammed him to the ground. 7 down, Kayla said, breathing hard. 5 more, Jake said. Laura's voice came through the cum. I'm starting the jump drive. Hold on another minute. Jake nodded. We can do that. The last 5 attackers came in as a group. One had a heavy shield. Another had a flamethrower. Stay low, Jake said. He ran straight toward the man with the flamethrower. The flames shot out, but Jake slid under the fire and kicked the man's legs. The man fell, and the flames hit the wall instead. Kayla used the moment to take out the shield carrier. She aimed for the legs. Her shots hit, and the big man fell. Jake grabbed the flamethrower and used it on the last 3. They screamed and ran back. 12 down, Kayla said. Jake dropped the weapon. Clear. Laura called again. Jump drive ready. Hold on. The ship shook. Then stars stretched and vanished. They had jumped. Everything went quiet. Jake leaned against a crate, breathing hard. His shirt was torn, and his arm was bleeding. Kayla looked at him. You're hurt, just a scratch, Jake said. You saved us again. You fought like ... like a machine. Just trained, Jake said. That's all. Kayla helped him to the medbay. Laura met them there. 12 pirates, she said. You took down 12. Pirates, alone. Kayla helped, Jake said. Laura looked at Kayla. He's not just some guard, is he? Kayla shook her head. No, he's more. I don't know who he is, but he's more. Jake sat quietly while Laura cleaned his wound. What's your story, Jake? She asked. It's old. Doesn't matter now, he said. Kayla sat beside him. It matters. To us. Jake didn't answer. He looked out the small window. Stars moved slowly now. Peaceful. Where are we heading next? Jake asked. Laura said, to a deep station near the core. Safer there, Jake nodded. Good. Kayla looked at him. You going to leave us after that? Jake thought. For a moment, I don't know yet. Kayla smiled. Well, wherever you go, I'm coming with you. Jake gave a small smile. The first one she had seen. The ship flew on. In the dark of space, a small man had once again stood against many, and won. The legend of Jake Carter grew stronger with every fight. The ship arrived at the deep space station, near the galactic core. It was a large place with tall towers and blinking lights. The station floated in the dark like a metal city. Laura guided the ship to one of the docking ports. As soon as they landed, repair bots came out and started. Checking the hull, Jake stepped off the ship and looked around. The air smelled clean, the lights were soft, but his eyes kept moving. He was always watching, always ready. Kayla walked beside him. She still had a small limp, but her eyes were sharp. No danger here, she said. Not like the last stop. Danger hides in quiet places too, Jake replied. They walked into the station. Laura stayed behind to meet with the cargo handlers. Jake and Kayla went to find a place to eat. The food hall was busy. People from many worlds sat together. Voices mixed in the air. Jake picked a corner table. Kayla brought 2 plates of food and sat across from him. "Do you ever relax?" she asked. "I try," Jake said. "But not for long." Kayla looked at him. "You always act like someone's chasing you, are they?" Jake didn't answer. He ate in silence. Kayla didn't push. She had learned that Jake only spoke when he wanted to. After the meal, they walked through the market area. Shops sold strange tools, glowing stones, and old ship parts. Jake stopped at one small booth. He picked up a thin metal pendant. It had a symbol from Earth. The shopkeeper smiled. "Not many humans come out this far. You from Earth." "A long time ago," Jake said. He gave the shopkeeper a few credits and kept the pendant. Kayla watched him with quiet interest. They returned to the ship in the evening. Laura had finished her work. She looked tired. "We'll stay here for 2 days," she said. "Then we head to the mining colony. They're expecting us." Jake nodded. "Understood." Kayla leaned against the wall. "Do you think they'll come again?" "The pirates?" Jake looked at her. "If they do, I'll be ready." That night, Jake couldn't sleep. He sat alone in the small control room, watching the stars. He held the metal pendant in his hand. It reminded him of someone he had lost. Soft noise came from the hall. Kayla walked in, holding 2 cups. "You never sleep, do you?" she asked. Jake gave a small smile. "Not if I can help it." She handed him a cup. "Hot tea. It helps me." They sat together in silence for a while. Kayla looked at him. "I was wrong about you. That first day when I laughed, I judged you by your size, by your silence. I thought you were weak." Jake said nothing. "But I saw you fight," she said. "I saw the way you moved. You've seen real war." "Yes," Jake said quietly. "And you carry something heavy, pain, loss. I can see it in your eyes." Jake looked down. "I lost people. A long time ago. My team, my family. It never leaves." Kayla nodded. "I understand. I lost my brother in battle. He was strong, but he made a mistake. I tried to save him, but I was too late." They sat in silence again. Jake finally said, "You're strong, Kayla, not just in body, in spirit." She smiled. "And you? You carry strength like a storm, quiet but deadly." The next morning, alarms rang across the station. Everyone stopped. A voice came through the speakers. "Emergency alert. A rogue ship has entered the area. All ships on lockdown. Security teams report to duty." Jake stood up fast. "They're here." Laura rushed to them. "We're locked in. We can't leave the station." "What do we do?" Jake said. "We fight, if we must. But first, we gather information." Kayla pulled out her cum. "I know someone in the station security. I'll find out what's going on." She left quickly. Jake and Laura stayed near the ship. Within an hour, Kayla returned. "It's them," she said. "The same group, pirates. They followed us here, but they're smarter now. They're not attacking directly. They're blending in, waiting for a moment to strike." Jake nodded. "Then we strike first." Laura looked unsure. "This is a big station. We can't fight them all." "We don't have to," Jake said. "We find the leader, cut off the head, the rest fall." Kayla smiled. "I like your style," Jake said. "We move at night, quiet, fast." They prepared their gear. Jake packed light, just a knife, a small gun, and a pendant around his neck. As night came, they slipped into the dark halls of the station. Jake moved like a shadow. Kayla followed close, silent and ready. The hunt had begun. And this time, Jake was not alone. Whatever waited in the dark, Jake Carter was ready to face it. Jake Carter stepped off the small transport ship and looked around. The station was loud and busy. People from many planets walked quickly through the metal halls. There were traders, workers, and travelers. Jake was small and quiet. He wore simple clothes and carried only a small bag. No one paid attention to him. He walked through the station, looking for work. A large screen showed job offers. Most of them were for transport help or guarding cargo. Jake stopped when he saw a job that said, "Security needed for cargo transport." Through Pirate Zone, he pressed the button and signed up. Near the cargo bay, a group of mercenaries stood around. They wore armor and talked loudly. One of them was an alien woman with red skin and yellow eyes. Her name was Kayla. She was tall, strong, and proud. She saw Jake walk toward the group and laughed. "You must be lost, little human," Kayla said. "This job is for fighters, not children." Jake looked at her and said nothing. He just gave the paper to the merchant who owned the cargo. Her name was Laura Hill. She looked surprised. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Laura asked. "This trip is dangerous. Pirates have attacked ships in that area." Jake nodded. "I can handle it." Kayla laughed again. "He will not last 1 hour." Laura sighed. She needed help, and Jake was the only one left who signed up. She gave him the job. Later that night, Jake stayed alone near the cargo. The other guards laughed and told stories in the main hall. Jake took out a small knife and began to train. He moved quickly and quietly, like he had done it many times before. His eyes were focused. His arms showed old scars. He did not smile. Kayla walked by and stopped. She watched him for a moment. His moves were strange, not like normal fighters. They were clean and fast. She frowned, then turned and walked away. The next day, the convoy of ships left the station. The stars outside were bright and cold. Jake sat near the cargo, calm and ready. Kayla sat near the front, checking her weapon. Laura sat with the pilot. Hours passed. Then the alarm sounded. Pirates were coming. Ships flew in from the side and blocked their path. The mercenaries grabbed their weapons. The fight began. Kayla rushed forward with her gun. The pirates fired first. One of the guards was hit. Jake stayed low and quiet. He watched, waiting. Kayla got hit in the leg and fell. The pirates came closer. Jake stood up and ran forward. He moved fast, too fast. He grabbed a pipe from the floor and hit the first pirate in the face. The man dropped out. Another pirate turned, but Jake was already on him. He kicked the man in the chest and grabbed his weapon. With quick shots, he took down to more. The guards were shocked. Jake kept moving. His face was calm. His eyes were cold. Kayla watched from the ground. Her leg was bleeding, but she forgot the pain. She watched Jake fight. 12 men had come. Jake was fighting them alone. Jake rolled behind a crate and fired again. He hit another pirate. Then he jumped over the crate and used his elbow to break one pirate's nose. He moved like water, fast and smooth. Soon the pirates began to fall back. Jake ran to the ship's controls. He shut down the pirate ship engines. Then he helped Laura start the hyperspace jump. The convoy escaped. When the ships were safe, Jake sat down and cleaned his hands. Laura looked at him with wide eyes. Kayla limped over, still staring at him, "You, ... You fought like a ghost," she said. "Where did you learn that?" Jake looked at her and said, "I've had some training." Kayla shook her head. "I laughed at you. I thought you were weak." "I was wrong." Jake stood up. "It doesn't matter. The job is done." Kayla nodded slowly. For the first time, she felt respect for the small human. Jake looked small, but now she knew he was something else, something dangerous, the legend of Jake. Carter had begun. The ship landed safely at a small repair station near the edge of the sector. Laura Hill thanked Jake again and again. The crew was still talking about what had happened. Jake stayed quiet, standing near the back. He didn't like attention. Kayla sat with a medic, getting her leg treated. She kept glancing at Jake. Thoughts were heavy. She had laughed at him, but now she felt something else, not just respect, curiosity. Who was he really? Later, Laura sat with Jake in the small dining room of the ship. She gave him a cup of hot tea. Jake nodded and took it. "You saved all of us," she said. "We would have died out there. Those pirates don't take prisoners." Jake looked into his cup. "You paid me to protect the cargo. I did the job. That's not what I mean," Laura said. "You fought like a soldier. A real one. You've seen war, haven't you?" Jake didn't answer. Laura waited, but he stayed quiet. She let it go. "We'll be staying here for repairs. 2 days, maybe 3. You can rest." Jake nodded. He stood up and left the room. Kayla was waiting in the hallway. She stepped in front of him. "I want to talk," she said. Jake stopped. "Go ahead." Kayla looked at him hard. "You're not a normal guard. You fought like a ghost. Where did you learn that?" "Long time ago," Jake said. "Different life." "You were military, maybe." Kayla crossed her arms. "You know, most people brag after a fight like that. You say nothing. Why?" Jake shrugged. "Words don't matter. Actions do." Kayla stepped aside. "You confuse me, Jake Carter. But I want to understand. Maybe one day you'll tell me." Jake walked past her without another word. The next day, Jake walked around the station. He stayed near the outer edges, far from the markets and noise. He watched ships land and leave. He saw a mother holding a child's hand. He saw 2 workers arguing about prices. He looked at them like someone who didn't belong. Inside the station bar, Kayla sat with Laura. They watched Jake on the screen. "He doesn't talk much," Laura said. "No," Kayla replied. "But he listens, and he sees everything. Do you trust him now?" Kayla nodded, more than most. Back on the ship, Jake cleaned his gear. His knife, his boots, his small bag. He opened a hidden pouch. Inside was an old photo, a group of people in uniform. Young, smiling faces. He stared at it for a long time, then put it away. At night, a small alarm went off. Jake woke instantly. He walked to the control room and checked the system. It was a false signal, probably a glitch. But he didn't go back to sleep. Kayla found him sitting near the cargo room. "Can't sleep?" she asked. Jake shook his head. "Never do." Kayla sat beside him. "I used to think humans were weak, soft, but you're different. You're like a weapon, waiting." "Weapons are dangerous," Jake said. "Even to the ones who hold them." Kayla looked at him. Something happened to you. Something bad. Jake didn't answer. Kayla didn't push. Well, I'm glad you were here. You saved my life. Jake looked at her. Just doing my job. Kayla smiled. You always say that. But I think you care more than you show. Jake stood up. Get some sleep. The next morning, the repair was done. Laura called the crew. They had one more delivery to make. A small trip to a mining colony. No danger, she said. Jake nodded. I'll go. Kayla joined too. She didn't want to be left behind. The ship left the station. The stars outside looked the same, but something had changed. Kayla no longer laughed at Jake. She watched him with new eyes. Jake stood near the window, looking out. Kayla walked up beside him. You ever think of leaving this life behind? Jake said. All the time. Why? Don't you? Because I don't know what else I'm good at. Kayla didn't speak. She just stood with him, silent. The ship flew on, quiet and calm. But Jake knew peace never lasted. Not for long. In the distance, another signal blinked on the screen. Unknown ship. No ID. Jake stepped forward. We have company. Laura looked worried. More pirates? Jake looked at the screen. Maybe, or something worse. Kayla reached for her weapon. Then we fight, together. Jake gave her a small nod. For the first time, he didn't feel alone. The next chapter was coming, and Jake Carter was ready